Hey everybody, welcome back to DEFCON 5, a little series I've cooked up here on the City of Heroes Homecoming servers, the Excelsior Shard. We're going to be comparing 5 different defenders with 5 different buff sets to 5 different controllers with the same buff sets, and we're trying to answer the question, which of these classic archetypes from the game is the superior supporting, helping archetype in the game? Who do you want on your team? And so I'm going to be running a series of 5 missions each, recording the data obviously through YouTube here and the videos, but also logging the chat from these missions because I want to compare empirically and make a determination from actual data who is the so-called better archetype. And so if you've never done a log chat, the file that it's saved is a big old text file with tens of thousands of lines of chat messages that the game and your client on your computer generates as part of communication. And you can log them, record them. And once you've done this, you can go ahead and pop them over here into everybody's favorite spreadsheet, Excel. And what I've done is I took all that huge batch of data there from that log chat and I organized it into tabs such as pet damage, such as my teammates' information. And then, of course, I put in the more critical, important information for me, the damage I dealt, the damage I took, the number of enemies I defeated, etc., etc., etc. And I sorted it into these groups of data chunks, if you will. And of course, even by doing that, I still have thousands of lines of data that is impossible for any human to possibly sort out. And old school way, I would have come up with some sort of sorting, filtering, you know, equation or whatever here on Excel itself. But in the modern era of computers, instead, what I've done is I've leveraged everybody's favorite chatbot, ChatGPT, of course. So what I've done, my friends, is I asked for help to organize and sort this data for my Ampere Avenger and to categorize it into different things that I can then bring to you, report to you, show you what happened in the game. Not just my interpretation, my feelings, my opinions. I'll share those, of course, but actual hardcore data from the actual missions themselves. So you can see unfiltered what I saw and make your own determination. So that, my friends, is what this little series or this little episode is going to be about. We're going to go ahead and watch the original set of team videos because, believe it or not, I have not yet watched the entire thing. I've only watched maybe the first 5 or so, 10 minutes, just to make sure the video was working. And then I posted up to YouTube, just raw, let you guys take a look at it before I had my own, view, my own eyeballs on it. And so that's what I want to do today. I want to do a reacto-analysis. I'm gonna watch the vid first, and as I'm watching it, I'm gonna react to it live here, and then I'm also going to do the analysis. I'm going to bring in those numbers, those stats, that data that I've accumulated from the original chat logs, my sorting there on Excel, and then ChatGPT's analysis of the data. I'm going to bring it to you as appropriate timing based upon what the heck's going on in the video. So that's what this video is going to be about. We're gonna do a little something different. We're going to watch this raw and go through the process or go through what all happened, and I will respond or share my thoughts during the process. So let me go ahead and pull up the video itself. Here it is. And not only we're going to watch it, we're going to do a little Monday Night Football style. We're going to be annotating and illustrating and circling plays and whatever else that happened during the actual session, doing a little bit of XP pen telestrating here. So that's the plan, my friends. We're going to go through this together forever. Amen. I think that's a song lyric. But anyway, let me go ahead and put the old headset on. And let's, without further ado, fire this puppy up. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, so first things first was getting this thing started up. Let me go ahead and mute myself because I don't need to hear myself blabbing twice, both in my ears and you. So, when I got this thing started, the problem I had, or my challenge for this, was to make sure that the team I assembled was non-buffing, not overwhelming incarnates, and a little bit diverse with the sense of having some melees, some range people on there. And I also wanted to try to not have a bunch of people who were mugging it up for the camera, sort of thing. And so it took a little while to get it started, but I did target red side first because typically that's, a lower population anyway, and the people that are playing over there are more, focused, I guess, rather than just sort of going on blue side. You throw out a LFG and you got every rando noob AE baby in the game wants to join your team. I wanted people who have at least some idea of what the hell they're doing, and I typically find that more on red side. So anyway, that was where I started this thing, and so I assembled together a group of allies here. If I go ahead and scoot forward, I cut some of this from the posted information or the posted video originally. But when I originally started recruiting, I had gotten Bloody Mary here, who was a corruptor, and I didn't really want a corruptor because they have buffs, of course, and I'm not trying to have buffs. But after I was kind of just chatting a little bit about what I was looking for with the player of Bloody Mary, they recognized who I was because I'm a super famous YouTuber, I guess. But they said, "Oh, you're the guy who does the YouTube videos." I didn't say anything because I don't want people who know. So anyway, they ultimately said, "Well, hey, I can switch to a non-buffer if you like." And I said, "Okay, sure, if you want to." In the meantime, I put out the call to the best of the worst crew. That's the channel that Wednesday Woe has started. And if you haven't seen her channel before, I don't know what rock you're living under, but she does similar videos to mine. Hers are probably more entertaining, of course. She's got some fun, like story stuff and just a little witty sense of humor. And but she does, build videos, does some testing videos, and she's been posting some storm blasty type of videos lately. So anyway, I recruited a few people from that channel. They know who I am in the sense of a lot of people on her channel know my channel as well. So they knew kind of what I was up to. But I don't know them. No, that was not like, oh, it's my bestest buddies since kindergarten type of thing. So long story short, of the final team that we ended up putting together here, you had myself on Ampere Avenger, and then you had Unliving Darkness, Red Bolt, and Overcharge Girl. Those three characters that are currently on the team, these are all best of worst bow wows. So all three of them knew what was going on. And then Damian Knight was the alt of the true pug, who I don't know, who was originally playing Bloody Mary or Blood Mary or whatever it was, and had switched to. So pretty much at this point, everybody knew what I was doing. And so I just was telling them, hey, just play normal, and that's how I get a little chuckle out of it, which was, play like a true pug. You don't have to do any. I don't want people hamming it up, trying to do anything different than what they normally would have done anyway. So that was the big, kind of opening little talk. And then the idea was to get the crew here to run in a group of five, so 5 players, and I wanted to run papers, and I was trying to go after escorts or kidnaps, as we call them here on Red Side. And the idea with the kidnap was typically these would be the longest running um, missions out there because you got to go find the person to kidnap, defeat stuff on the way, and then you get ambushed and defeat stuff on the way back. So my hope was it was going to give me long missions or longer missions than a standard paper mission. And it turns out I was oh so wrong about that. Nothing further from the truth happened here. What ends up happening, and you'll see this in the first couple vids, is first of all, of the five, we dropped down to four by the second mission because Unliving Darkness had to leave early, had to bail out. So that was one of our bow wows, one of our best of worsties had to leave, which was kind of good in the sense that then I was able to replace with a true pug who had no idea what the heck was going on. The other thing that was at least advantageous about it was because Unliving Darkness and I think Damien Knight, the two of them were incarnates. So I had them incarnated and I had me. And I didn't really want to go with three incarnates because once you got incarnates, you get all those extra powers. And if, 60% of the team is incarnated, it makes things much bigger slam dunk easy. Meanwhile, our two range types here, Overcharge Girl and Red Bolt, they were in the 40s. I forget exactly what, 41, 43, something like that. 40s level characters, so non-incarnates. But for the incarnates, the level 54s that I had set the game to, the missions to, they would only be technically +3 to them because when you're an incarnate with your alpha slotted up, you're technically level 51. So these things are only 53s to three of the teammates. And then these two, they would actually be +5s because they would be sidekicked to me as a level 50. So they'd be acting as if they were level 49. So we'd have, 3 out of the 5 people going against +3s and 2 out of the 5 people going against +5s. So keep that in mind as the kind of the session here progresses because I end up with a team of 6. And when Unliving Darkness leaves after this first mission, we kind of are in a dearth of incarnates. And I think you'll notice things get a little bit spicier, a little bit more difficult. I don't remember if any of the other two new players that joined us at the later point were incarnates or not. I know one was not for sure. There was a Dominator was not. I don't know if the other Blaster was or wasn't. So anyway, that's a little bit of the background here to this particular episode. All right, so let's go ahead and see what happens. Oops, get this. How is this crap at? Something over here? And the first mistake I make is forgetting to put log chat. I'm a buffer, not a tank. So you guys got to do your shit. Yeah, I put that out there because it seemed to me for a second they were hesitating, like waiting for me to go charging. I'm like, I'm not charging in there. Ampere Avenger is not frontline charging into anything if he can avoid it. God, big empty fucking map. Sorry, I gotta watch my language. So it looked like there was 3 guys here that we ended up defeating. I don't have the actual log chat stats for these guys in the data. I can show you a little bit later, but I forgot to log my chat. It was only 3. Log chat. There we go. And of course, as I'm typing log chat, you'll notice Overcharge Girl gets a big whack. So that's one thing about a defender. And you take your eyes off the team for a second, and bam, bad stuff happens. I think you'll see this happen again with our first defeat that's coming up soon. Oh, one thing I did not realize until after when I was watching this video initially, it was I was prepping it for the upload to YouTube, was that 3 of us are actually Electric Blast. So it turns out me, I don't know if anybody else caught this yet, but me, Red Bolt, and Overcharge Goal, all 3 of us are Electric Blast. Now that's, I don't know if that skews the data or not at some point because these powers can all synergize through shocked mechanic. And if you saw the build video, I talk about this. Shocked for defenders anyway increases your damage output. So the fact that I was with two other characters that were electric blasting, uh, having the shock to being triggered more often because endurance would have been drained more by all three of us, probably artificially inflated my damage if I was, let's say, on a team that didn't have a bunch of electric blasters. So that was something that I didn't catch till later, but so be it. Now, one thing I was noticing also is that we were doing pretty well keeping our endurance up, given that, we're sitting here in the middle of plus five or plus three carnies that are doing endurance drain when they die. So notice really the only person that's having any sort of low issues is Overcharge Girl. And it might just be slotting for her character, I don't know. This is our escort right here. So I'm going to try to record the number of defeats, close calls, that kind of crap. Oh yeah, speaking of close calls, it's the other thing I want to watch out for. So if you guys see them, and for close call, what I'm looking for is if you're less than a quarter of health, if you go down to 25% or less, kind of that red orange hit point color. If that happens, I'm counting that. I think I want to count that stat. I want to take on ambushers if possible. So yeah, we're just trying to figure out what to do at this point because I had said on the way in, hey, I wanna, kill as many as we can. But notice we, come in through the door, make a left, don't encounter anybody. We have one quick little fight or whatever here. Go back around the corner, have the second fight here, which is then the boss with the kidnap victim, and immediately we're ready to leave. So my initial idea of, oh, let's do kidnaps, they'll be longer, they'll be slower, immediately busted. We get done with this mission in about another minute or two from here. So we're only on this map for, I don't know, it was like 5, 6 minutes or something like that. So boom, right out the gate, uh, kind of screwed my plan, but I was like, well, I don't want to just artificially just start running around the map. And I thought that would be too fake. So I'm trying to play it like normal, like you normally would play without contriving the circumstances of encounters or whatever. So anyway, oh spoiler, poor overcharge girl. Watch what happens here because notice uh, what I'm doing is I am answering somebody's question about, hey, should we leave now or whatever. And I was like, oh, let's slow walk. So I'm typing that message. Oops. And as I'm typing that message, I'm also dealing with, I think it was Damien had posted that they got a phone call or something like that. And hold on a second, because you'll notice their characters back here. So they want AFK for a minute. The rest of us are heading up here. And I think Overcharge Girl ends up taking point. And you can also see there's a lot of geometry obstructions here. So I'm going to lose sight of her as she comes up in front of me around a corner. So watch what ends up happening. It's sad. So I type my message, I've got stuck, and also bam, immediately we've got ambush. So as soon as I get done talking, chatting, I go around that obstruction and boom, run into this ambush. I want to take on ambushers if possible. So there they go. Line of sight's now broken. Bang. Overcharged girl is out front by herself. Here's Red Bolt. And I believe it's Unliving Darkness is right behind me. And now we've got Carnies right in our face. So here's where I'm not sure any defender could have done anything for Overcharged Girl on this one. Because typically you need either line of sight or some sort of target enemy right here. I don't see anything. And I suddenly get distracted by these guys coming through at the same time as I was just answering that message about, hey, what do we want to do for this mission? I'm reiterating, hey, we want to try to get as many kills as possible, but let's just, slow walk out of here. And in the back of my head, I'm going, oh, I hope Damien gets back to the keyboard soon because, we're going to exit this mission and I want to get, don't want him to get stuck or killed or whatever. And boom, Overcharge Girl is down. I can't see her. She's not a target. I'm trying to see her. I've got Red Bolt targeted. This is my other problem that you'll see creep up multiple times in EA with Electric Affinity. So EA, your buffs need ally target. And so a lot of the time you're going to see me targeting through one of my allies. Now on my setup, what I do is I have my target next ally or target closest ally. I have it key bound to my tab key. So I'm right-handed. I'm using my over on my mouse. I have my mouse buttons are key bound to targeting enemies, closest, furthest. But my left hand, my fingers are over there on my keyboard, you know, uh, for the QWES or Q whatever, what I'm saying, to run forward, backward, strafe, blah blah blah. And my fingers also can hit my attacks real fast. So I have tab right there. Boom, if I need to target an ally. So immediately as Overcharge disappears around the corner, ambushers appear. I have to target somebody, her specifically, or somebody near her that I can bounce or chain my buffs off of heal or whatever. So I don't even see her. I don't know where she is. And she's immediately getting walloped. And I only can target Red Bolt, who's like right behind me. So this is why poor Overcharge Girl ends up biting it right here. Oh, there they are. Oh, that doesn't count. And it,
Damien at the.
oh, I thought it. At first, I thought it was Damien that went out front.
Got wrecked.
And then I was kind of surprised, like, wait, are blasters out front? Like, what the hell?
Dude, does that count against me?
It's a warm up. So now at this point, the rest of the team has Damien's back on point with us. But yeah, Overcharge just got clobbered by +5, Grant Master Illusionist. And at this point, I'm thinking, maybe I should just not count this mission because it was super short. A lot of chatting. We weren't really, working. I wasn't ready yet. But then I'm like, well, F it. We'll just record it and use the data. So
Yep.
now, one thing I'm wondering about is if I should count as a stat what I'm doing right now. It's the back on the feet stat. Because it's one thing that defenders and controllers and buffers in general can do is if you got a dead enemy, not just necessarily res them, but can you get them back in the fight quickly? So plus endurance, plus hit points, that sort of thing. Because let's say I was a force field or something like that, I wouldn't have been able to get overcharged back into the fight like I just did. So this might be an interesting stat to look at. But I don't know. What do you guys think? If you have any thoughts on that, go ahead and comment below. Is that a stat I should track? The other thing I'm trying to figure out is
Where's the rest of the damn?
if I should. Let me pause this for a second.
All
So it's kind of this back on the feet idea, and maybe not worry about the close calls. So I might swap those. I haven't 100% decided yet, but that's just something to consider. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to mention is you'll see that because this mission was so short, and because of this part right here where you see the hostage is taking forever to just walk the hell out of this map. I'm like, is because I was recording time, right? I'm tracking time as one of my stats because I was thinking time might be a good factor considering, oh, if you're doing a great job, then you'll probably be producing shorter time, that kind of thing. But then I'm thinking, as I was looking at the stats now, I don't necessarily know that time is something to compare directly. I think it's more of an indirect comparison. So in other words, what I mean is what does it matter if a mission takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes? What matters is did people die? Did you get a lot of rewards from it, etc. So just speeding something for time's sake, like right there, that mission, that was not a really worthwhile mission what we just did, even though it just cost us a death. So that's where I was thinking, I don't think I want to use time directly. I think when I want to use it is as a denominator for comparison of other set or of other stats. So in other words, maybe damage output per time, number of defeats per time. Like so, it's factored in because the longer you're on a map, the more damage, the more defeats, that sort of thing should be output. But it's not a fair comparison if I don't factor in it the time as a denominator. So, for instance, if I'm comparing, let's say on this run with my defender, I spent 5 minutes on this map. And then on my controller, I go ahead and she runs it, and we spend the same exact map, but maybe we make a different turn, or the random generator puts the hostage in a different location. It might take us 10 minutes, and they're going to get, double the kills, double everything else. And it seems like, oh wow, that AT, that build is awesome. It's way better than this one. Well, was it? If the time spent took twice as long, or maybe they're on there for 30 minutes and get the same exact stats. Uh, you know, and we're not factoring that in. We're thinking, oh, they're equivalent to each other, but not if it takes you 6 times as long to do the same thing. So I'm thinking I'm not going to use time as just a raw stat. I think I'm going to use it as a denominator for comparison. So that's kind of my thinking on that. Let me go ahead and hide this thing so I get some more screen room here. So anyway, just some things I started thinking about. And it's at this point where I'm, again, thinking, well, maybe I'll toss this mission. I'll get another one lined up. And with the next one that's lined up, we'll just go ahead and use this as mission number one. But then what happens here is we lose one of our teammates there. Our other brutes, what was it, abominable, dominant? I forget his. Gosh, what's your name? You're one of my bestie worsty friends here. Unliving Darkness. That's when it's dark on the brain here. So Unliving Darkness had to leave right at the end of that mission. I didn't catch their message that they had to go until I think I was actually watching this initial video when I was uploading it, going, "Oh, they messaged that they had to leave." Or I was looking at the the log chat. I got it from there. So anyway, I was like, well, I guess they got kicked out or something. I didn't know what had happened to them. So anyway, if you hear me when I'm talking about, oh, we lose a body, that's what I was inquiring. It's like, what happened to Unliving Darkness? So at this point, I started another mission, and I immediately violate one of my other rules I wanted to, maintain, and that was groups of five. So boom, we start up right away with a man down.
Give me a non-illusionist target.
See, that's definitely a problem. Is that with EA, the other right here, I'm talking about missing our other brute. Anyway, what I was saying is that trying to not target illusionists, not just because they phase and you can't do damage, but it interrupts my chain of buffs. If I'm targeting through somebody who's targeting them, it just causes all kinds of problems. By the way, if you have an illusion controller or whatever on your team, their pets will absorb your jumps, but they won't proc them, and it immediately blocks all of
Maybe I was
your.
leaving or something. I missed it.
it blocks all of your chains at that point. So watch out if you're going to team up with a illusion person. The other thing I wanted to look at was, gosh, where was it? Go back another couple. Right there. See Damien. Damien takes a big hit coming up. I don't know if it's a close call or not. All right, so right there. So Damien, here's what my idea about the close calls. I don't think this is what would qualify as a close call, but if you take a look, he's knocked down to probably about a third of his health or so. So I'm not sure if I'm calling that a close call or not, or is it less than a quarter? For me, I think close call is more like you're down in this chunk, not half health or whatever. But that's what I'm thinking about is close call a good stat to record. Again, if you have any thoughts on that, let me know. But I was going to, as I'm watching this video, is keep my eye out for these and just tally them up. How many close calls do I save somebody's bacon? So in other words, prevent them from being defeated. So rather than becoming a negative stat for me, they become, a positive stat. Like, wow, you just saved somebody's life with a close call. Is that something that, a buffer's job is? Or would it be better just kind of looking at get somebody back in the fight? Or maybe those two stats need to be combined. I don't know. But anyway, Damien almost bites it here, but I hit the absorb and get him jacked up on some juice. That 529 is what is his. This is the absorb I just hit him with. 529, and it jumps 297. I think that's Overcharged Girl, and I think that's me gets the 264. So you can see the absorb numbers here. Boom, 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 and I think Red Bolt's behind me at this point. This is the other issue with EA Electrical Affinity is just the guys behind you. I don't know if they're getting hit by the buffs or not. So it's a little bit nerve wracking. Like you're turning around. Where are they? Where are they?
Give me a non-illusionist target.
Damon there took another hit. I'm throwing out heals.
Who did we lose?
Another absorb. I'm taking hits now. More heals.
He might have said he was leaving or something. I missed it.
Yeah, so I missed that message.
It's the problem with trying to run these tests, guys, is you're going to lose bodies. But I'm going to make this rule that if somebody drops mid whatever, just going to go without them. It's going to happen, right?
Yeah, that was something I pretty much had to immediately deal with on this team. And then it ends up kind of flipping in the other direction a little bit later when I ended up with 6 guys on the team. It's because I asked someone if they wanted to join. I got no message for like a minute or so. So then I asked another person, got them on the team. And then all of a sudden, the guy that I had initially asked, so, oh, yeah, I'll come. And I'm like, well, add a 6 just in case somebody else drops. Because between the last mission, when we had a little bit of AFK from Damien, followed by Unliving Darkness's immediate drop between missions and this one, and then just the short nature of these two missions, what I end up doing is just combining these two with the stats and calling these two cave rescue missions as a single overall mission. Just use the stats combined. And I do a calculation based upon only having 4 members of the team. We'll take a look at that data in a second here. So now I'm trying to find another body. And we're sitting there killing this person. Kill some more. And then we get over to the end room with the boss and the hostage. I noticed Damien was taking a lot of damage. And then Damien's like, hey, sorry, I'm not so great at tanking, which is fine. Um, but I definitely noticed taking a beating. So I'm focusing a lot on my buffs through my brute here, which is fine. But the problem is my blaster. Red Bolt was closer, but Red Bolt being a Sentinel is probably gonna be closer. But for a lot of times, Overcharge behind me also taking damage, and you'll see this later in the video that I have this split between trying to help Damien, trying to help Overcharge. I can't see Overcharge behind me, so I can't directly target them.
Mary left for.
And then I'm confusing Bloody Mary with Unliving Darkness when Unliving Darkness was one of our worsty friends. Bloody Mary is Damien Knight.
All right, more
So I
escorts.
got confused with all the stuff that was happening.
Get us out of here. Nah, you're good.
Yeah, so Damien, you were doing fine. We weren't trying to break any speed records or whatever.
Just messing about, messing around. This guy coming?
Yes, I didn't know if Damien, if he had wanted to switch or whatever. I was like, hey, you can if you want to, but
So
because they originally were Bloody Mary. So then, boom, immediately I get ganked here. Almost crap myself. Throw down the Faraday. Juice up. Get Overcharge going again. Get me going. Get the team buffed. Yeah, that Nuke Thunder Blast is devastating against their endurance. Just steals it all. All right, so we finish up this fight, and it's weird is we don't get the other ambush at all. I don't know what the hell happened to it. It took us another 30 seconds or so to get out of there, a minute, because this guy was so slow.
I might have to scrap these damn. All right. All right. I don't know if I'm gonna count that one or not. We're down a body, and now they're back. God.
Yeah. So I do end up counting. So what I end up doing is I go ahead and let me pull this up. I'll start showing you guys now our stats here. So I go ahead and start putting together my stats here. So what I end up doing is, so timeout, pause. Analysis from the mission, right? So here's what I end up doing. So mission time total, as I start chopping up these missions into the 4+ mayhem. What I end up doing, just for the record, is those first two missions, mission 1 and 2, I just combine because this one was only about 5 or 6 minutes. This one was only like 6, 7 minutes. So I just put them together. It was about 14 minutes of total time on these two escort kidnap missions. And I'm lumping in 4 teammates because we had 4 teammates for the bulk of the time here. Because this one, even though it was 5 minutes or whatever, there was only about 4 minutes of actual combat. And during that time, one of our players went AFK, et cetera, et cetera. So I was, even though we had 5 people during this brief little stint here, because of the AFK, because of the way that map just kind of worked out, I'm just kind of lumping these two things together and just calling this mission 1 and 4 teammates. The next 4 are more what I was planning, although only mission 3 is the true 5-person team. And even that, there was about a starting minute of it where it was just 4 of us because the 5th person was on their way. And then these 3 missions, at that point, I had gotten that 6th person sort of accidentally, but I just, well, I'm not going to kick them, they're on the team, so whatever. Well, and I was just figuring, well, if somebody else drops, I got the extra body ready. It's no big deal. So then we end up going with six. But this becomes an issue during the analysis, as I'll talk about in a little bit. But at this point, I've got mixed data, right? I got a team of four, I got a mission with five, and I got missions with six. So kind of comparing stats is a little bit hard. One thing is if you have more teammates. So this team here with six, I had five teammates. That's one extra body I need to focus buffs on. Is that a fair assessment? Is that a fair comparison versus a team with just three teammates and I got four? Because now I only have to worry about three people I have to help. So it's easier with a buffer to deal with a small team than it is for a large team. Now I don't know if the stats bore that out or not, but that's just part of the issue here that I've already got this wonkiness with the testing. And that's what I was commenting on there is that I think this is going to happen a lot is you're going to start with a team of five and somebody's going to drop in the middle of the mission or somebody's going to end up getting disconnected or something or you're accidentally going to have a six person, somebody wants to join and can, my buddy joined who's whatever, sure. Where you're standing around not wanting to wait till you get five, screw it, let's go ahead and go with four. So I don't know. I mean, I do want to be diligent about having the same stat comparison, but it just may not be possible to lock that in. All right, so on the next mission, where we get our replacement, Seriously Slippery joins the team. They're Dominator. So this mission just got started. We engaged the first group without our Dominator on the squad. And this is, even though it's our third mission, I'm counting it as the second mission based upon the stats. So we start engaging with the fight, and you'll see it's the death and resurrection here of these galaxies that just starts doing gobs of damage. And if you've seen my solo videos where I've done some build videos, I talk about this and how dangerous they're. Boom, right there. There's okay, that was a close call. So here's what I would call a close call. And it's my own close call right here. So see when I go orange, if I see orange to red, I'm going to call that a close call. So I have one close call. That's part of my stats that I want to record. I don't have these stats yet. So let me get a piece of paper so I can jot this down. I'm gonna go old school on this one. Close call. For our first time, this is on mission 3 technically, although mission 2 by stats. Close calls, we got one. So we didn't have any close calls in those first two, but now we have one. And so I'm looking at this as a metric to compare my characters here because if you're able to save somebody before they get murdered at the last second, that's a powerful, get. But my problem with it as a overall stat is that that's really only possible with like healing buffing sets. Like if I'm a force fielder, I don't have the ability to sort of unclose call somebody. So maybe it actually should be a negative stat if you get close calls. Then you know, I don't know if it's necessarily do a point system here, but let's say a defeat death is 3 point deduction or something like that, and close call is one. Or does a close call not even matter? Because if you're doing a great buff job, then you're probably not going to have a lot of close calls. So that would make sense that it's a negative stat, and it helps if you can prevent it. Uh, or the fact that you can bring somebody back from the edge, maybe that's important, and that'd be better for buffing. That'd be a positive set. Or again, maybe you only use the get back on your feet stat. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna record the data for now, and then I'll kind of make a decision, later as I see more of the missions and stuff how they play out. All right, let's continue. So I am close calling it right now, and you can see the reason why if you take a look at what the heck is going on here. Let me get some different color here so you can see what happened here. This guy here and this guy here, these two galaxies just both rezzed. And that's why you see the unaffected and the unaffected. And so both of them, when they res, do AoE damage all around them. And bam, I got hit by both within a second of each other, and it took about 3/4 of my health. And Overcharge Girl looks like they got hit by at least one of them. So that was the big scare moment here, and don't have our fifth person yet on the team. Galvanic Sentinel, I'm targeting through it, it's taking a beating. And at this point, I'm kind of realizing what's happening. Like, I don't want to be next to these guys because I got distracted a little bit as I was getting seriously slippery onto the team.
And now people want to join after I filled.
And yeah, at the same time, I got other people messaging me because when I tried to get the fifth person, I put out an LFG. So seriously slippery is not anybody I know. And I'm not sure what level they are. When I click on them, I think they were 40 something. It's always tricky when a new player enters your team because you got to figure out how do they play. Are they going to take damage and I got to start babysitting? Are they going to be, destroying everything? And so I don't have to worry about them. I try to juice up Slippery though because I'm like, all right, you got a Dami. I want to get the recharge on them.
All right, now we finally got 5 guys in this team.
And they're Ice Thorns, I think.
Pay attention what the hell I'm doing, maybe it'd be nice.
Oh, you know what? This explains some stuff later because I noticed in my stats that there was like confusion
Target through Dami, I think, because I can help them the most.
was evident. Oh yeah, here's something coming up. Oh, okay, check out what's going on. Here's a classic move. Ready? We've got teammates. 1, 2. The other ones are behind me. And we're all staying here because this guy just rezzed. I believe he just rezzed. Or somebody just rezzed. And Damien doesn't notice it, right? Damien, our brute frontliner, is charging on to the next, group. And immediately I'm going, oh, fuck. Because I know Damien's been taking a beating. Now, if I'm near him, I'm able to, keep the buffs going and he's fine. But when I'm not near him, he's been taking pretty good hits. So I see this going, oh, shit. He's taken off. We got a team split. So either I go to follow and keep him alive, or I stay back here and try to kill this boss, keep my squishier allies alive. Because we got a Dominator back here, we got a Blaster back here. Sentinel's not too, bad, but definitely a dangerous situation building right here. There comes the res. Damien's taking a beating. And a red bolt charges to help. I'm going to help Damien. I'm looking back there. I see my 2 squishiest friends are soloing this stupid boss. Then Slippery bails. I'm like, uh-oh. Overcharge is all by themselves back there. Well, their blaster, they should have the damage to defeat this thing, but I don't know. So I summon my lore pets for the first time. Get some more damage out there. There's another big hit from a res.
Guys still alive back here?
Everybody's now up here. We left a boss behind us, which I hate doing. My pets are shocking it. Jack Frost is shocking it.
There we go.
Dead.
Die, bastard, die.
So anyway, I was talking about the confusion earlier and the stats when I was looking at the chat logs there I signs of confusion of enemies killing each other, whatever, and I couldn't remember. I'm like, when was there confusion? And now I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, it was our Dominator. They've got Arctic Air running. Got confusion. Oh, Damien just hit, I think, our close call right there. Let me go back and take a look. Yeah, right there. All right, so Damien close calls it right there. So I'm going to check. Write that one down. But I got him with an absorb. So that's something I think Electric is really good at. It's just it's that ability to get somebody right back on their feet right away. So Damien goes in with me. I Faraday, get the damage resistance. He takes a hit, takes another big hit. Bam, I hit him with absorb. Absorb, heal, he's back in. And then I click my rebirth. That's definitely something that Electric Affinity is good at, is just getting people on their feet, keeping them on their feet. So at this point, we've been doing fine. We've only had like one death, I think. So I'm like, all right, this is piece of cake. But things changed a little bit as we move up.
Shh, dude, these tests are
Oh, right here, check it out, check it out. See, Damien, what were you doing? All right, so I didn't even see him leave. Let me go back. There's Damien right there. So we're finishing up these scraps, right? Damien takes off. But the four of us are pretty much over here. I then go around, no line of sight. I didn't even see Damien run away. Now I see him and I'm like, bang, dead. Boom, right there. Damien broke line of sight. I didn't see where he went and smashed before I could do anything. He's down. He is out. That was our second defeat. So go ahead and play that.
Toast.
All right, Damien's gone. I don't know he's missing yet.
Shh, dude, these tests are gonna be harder than I thought. Oh my lord, he outran his buff. Outran your support, man. It'll be alright.
It's funny. That was funny.
Got too far ahead of me.
All right, juice the team up again. Get them back on their feet. Let's keep going. Oh, wolfing out. That was BS.
Freaking did that.
He was dead. I don't know how he got out of that. So yeah, so both the first two deaths, I couldn't do anything about. The people were out of my sight line. I couldn't help them, even if I saw them. Even if they were there, it was blocked. There was nothing I could do. So I see Damien going in again, taunting. I follow in close, Faraday.
Alright, where's Dami? You gonna get some amp, bro?
Amp up the Dami, get him that plus recharge.
Gonna be Dami popping.
All right, here's where we have another dive in that ends up dropping bodies.
This is what, our second mission with 5?
All right, boom, over the top he goes. Damien's in there too soon. I try to follow him. He's dead before I can do anything about it. I start taking massive damage. Slippery's coming in to try to help. I'm throwing out. Okay, that's a great example of whether So at that point, I'm like, what do you do? Because I either start throwing damage, which is what I choose, or I try to buff and heal, which I didn't do because at this point, I couldn't even see Slippery. I see him now. He's right, like right there in front of me. But during the fight, so here's Slippery right there. And Damien just goes down. So I'm like seeing Damien right in front of me, dead body laying here. And then you'll notice Slippery's health starts to go. And I'm like looking, going, where the hell's Slippery? I see, our Blaster and Sentinel back here fighting. Pets are back here. I see dead body Brute in front of me. There's me, of course. I'm like, I can't see Slippery. And there's all this freaking chaos around me. And I'm like, all right, where's Slippery? I don't know. I can't just start spamming buffs. F it. I'm dropping some bombs in here and try to just clear targets. Because at that point, the best buff you can give the team is to take all the enemies out.
I got it. I got it.
And then instead, what
Not
happens?
me. It wasn't me.
Actually, I think I end up saving Slippery, or they click something maybe. I forget. But then Overcharge like goes from look at this. Overcharge goes from a full to dead within a second. This is crazy. So here's Slippery dying. Last minute, I'm nuking. Overcharge is back here, looking just fine. Almost full health, no problem. And then watch how quick this flips. There's the nuke. I hit the heal,
I got it.
and then Overcharge is
It wasn't
dead.
me. It wasn't me. I swear to God, it was.
What the hell's killing Overcharge back there? Oh, I think the boss from the side over here got him.
I got it. I got it.
I can't even see. It's just total bedlam.
It's not me. It wasn't me. I swear to God, it wasn't my fault.
So now I'm just dropping, going to damage mode. I'm like, F it, kill them all. If Slippery's right next to me, I'm like, I gotta keep Slippery going. I don't know where Red Bolt is. The other two are dead. I'm at least gonna focus everything over here where Slippery is. Then Overcharge gets up. I'm like, all right, let me help you out. Start throwing some buffs. Find Overcharge. Get her back into the fight. Damien's coming back up. Let me get him back in the fight. Trying to target him.
As every time Damien goes past our outside the buff range, it's like bam, instant gank. All right. Yeah. See, so anyway, here's the thing. Electric Affinity is very good, but it's a reactive set. So if you get yourself into trouble, it's hard to quick recover with that shit.
All right, juice everybody up. There goes Red Bolt charging in, leading. In hindsight, probably should have been doing that more, Red. I'm like, oh crap.
Give me something. Give me something.
And boom, look
Don't move. Oh my God. No.
right there. That's the big weakness. Check this out. All right, so Red Bolt is going to charge, and I think Damien is still buffing up, retoggling behind us. And I wasn't expecting this. So Red Bolt's our Sentinel goes diving in there to Alpha. And I'm like, oh crap. I better get in there and help her. I don't realize at this time that our Sentinel here, Red Bolt, is actually really tough. Congrats, Red Bolt. You are the defeat champion. You, my friend, had 0 defeats. This is my defeats that we logged. So I had no defeats in those first couple Carney things. Here is where mine hits right there, my first one. And then the rest of the team defeats are down here. Ally defeats. We had 16 total. Spoiler. This is the original one with Overcharge Girl against the Carnies when they went around the corner. We just saw two of them in this mission, in that big pack of Khalsa right there. But then I try to get in there and Overcharge Girl, not Overcharge Girl. Um, yeah, I tried to get in there to make sure that Red is fine. But what, and this is funny, Red, you never die the entire time. If you take a look at the deaths, Bent Carrot, who joins the team later, has three. Damien had two. Dark Matter, who comes in later, has what, five? Overcharged Girl has four. Slippery has two. I had three, but Red, the Iron Woman here, zero. Not a single defeat. Congrats to you. So if I had known you were that tough, I would let you go in there and eat that alpha and not worry about it. But I didn't know. I didn't know. All right, let's fire that up again. So here goes Red. And I'm going, what the hell is Red doing?
Oh no.
I start taking massive damage. Now I'm like, all right, I need someone to heal through. Oh, wait, there's Overcharge. Overcharge heal. No, wait.
Don't move. Oh my god.
Splat.
My heal buff. My heal target moved.
Yeah, Affinity's buffs change, so if they move, you're dead. That's exactly what happened. I just gotta laugh about it though. And then Red thought it was their fault. I'm like, no, it's Overcharged moved.
I blame the blaster.
So you gotta be aware of who the hell you're targeting. But I wasn't expecting Overcharge to take off, but I think they started taking damage, so they're like, I gotta get out of here. That was so funny.
That was like dying. You know, that was fuck. Because I had clicked. And then they took a. This other person, Dark Matter.
All right, so here's where I end up with six because I asked one person who had earlier wanted to join us, and I said, hey, we're full. And then they didn't respond right away, so I messaged another person just who was in the zone and said, hey, you want to join? And they said, sure. So Bent Carrot joins us, level 40. And then that's when Dark Matter's like, oh, yeah, I want to join. So it's like, all right, well, you had asked earlier, and
six, considering I ran four, so. I don't know what the hell Dark. Dark is Blaster. I don't even know what level though.
so we got our brute back. I think, yeah, Damien had to leave after this after that last mission. So at this point, I've got Red Bolt knows who I am and what I'm doing. Same with Overcharged Girl, but everybody else who knew what the deal was, I love that when somebody comes and just starts pumping away. So I got three total pugs. Seriously, Bent and Dark had no idea. So I think at this point you're going to see sort of the most raw, footage as far as Red Bolt almost red line there. As far as just people playing naturally and not knowing there's some video happening.
Fuck it. They're gonna pay.
I think seriously just close called it. Let me see what happened. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what it was. One of the bosses tattooed him, maybe. So that's just the fourth mission. More council. Another close call.
funny. Funny.
All right, so we got a new player with dark matter, trying to figure out how they play, trying to figure out Bent Carrot's style.
God dang it. All right, enough of this shit.
All right, now I start nuking. One,
Or three over
two,
there and see what they like.
three. Let's cream people with that one.
Eat that.
By the way,
See controller do that.
exactly. This guy this ends up putting out way more damage than I had anticipated.
Just have to get more aggressive. F it. Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
So if you check out, I'm gonna take a quick look at these stats. So there's the defeats, the close calls I'm still doing. So check this out. Here's the interesting stat. By the time I'm done with this guy, on those 5 missions, this is my defeats that I logged. I don't know how many the rest of the team did, but 207 I individually I had like the killing blow on. So that I thought was pretty dang high. It's like, these are my per mission 32, 50. Like this one right now I'm on, take out 32. And then that's how much time we spent on the mission. So this is be foes defeated per minute. So that last mission with those council net with that warehouse was 4.5 foes defeated per minute. And this is where I factored in time as an example. So foes defeated per minute this is where I factored in the teammate. Because what I had a concern of at this point, what I was trying to figure out is at the first mission, right, we had essentially 4 players. So if I'm contributing a ton of foe defeats with 4 players, that would kind of make sense because I'm a quarter of the team at that point. Then here I'm a fifth of the team, and then here I'm a sixth of the team. So I'm thinking that the smaller fraction I am on a team, then the fewer foes I should be defeating because you got X number of foes on a map. Let's say there's 100 foes on a map. If it's evenly distributed amongst the 4 players, well then we're each gonna get 24. But if we go up to 5 players, then I should only be able to get 20. If I go up to 6 players, I should only be able to get 16. Right? So that's what this is factoring in here. So this is how many foes I'm defeating per minute. So the unit of time is here. But then I'm dividing that by how many teammates. And so you're thinking if I'm doing the same thing every mission or map, then these numbers should be relatively the same as you go down through. Because I'm already, per minute is going to standardize by time. So that's the point of that. We're standardizing by time. So if my offensive output is the same each mission or relatively close, then I should be defeating the same number of foes per minute roughly. And then if it's affected by the number of teammates, just by the proportion of targets that I can focus on, then this number should be fairly constant. And you'll notice it's not, right? I mean, I'm in the first mission when I should have the largest number because I have a bunch of foes first couple missions. It's kind of average. Then this third mission with all those council, that's when I have my highest, where I am having how many foes defeated per minute divided by the number of teammates. So I should only be accounting for, a fifth of that, but I had more here than when I was accounting for a fourth. And I had more here when I was accounting for, a sixth when I should have been less. But then all these guys are with 6, and this is my lowest of the bunch. So this is very random, right? Very random what's going on here. So I think there's no correlation here between, what I'm doing offensively and how much time we're on there, how many teammates. I think there's way more variables here that are not being controlled for, obviously the map itself, the foe concentration, because council they actually stack higher. Those first couple missions with the carnies, they were spread out a lot more the caves made it harder to sort of concentrate the fire. But anyway, I thought overall, contributing 207 kills myself over those five, missions. That's like 41 or whatever per mission, roughly. So, if you could go on a map and say, yeah, I'm going to kill 40 of these guys that's going to be on this map, I'd say, hey, that's pretty good. Especially just like paper radio missions, right? So these numbers are actually pretty interesting that I'm throwing out, 30, 50, 30. This one you'll see I don't get a ton of defeats. There's a reason for that one. And this is the Mayhem mission, which was the longest of the batch or the bunch, so that's why that one's the highest. But anyway, just some stats to take a look at. And within a vacuum, just looking at them by themselves, it doesn't mean very much. I can't interpret too much out of this data right now. I'm not sure if the way I'm subcategorizing, from defeats to defeats per minute to defeats per minute per teammate type of thing, if that makes any difference or even makes any sense. I won't know more until I have the controller data to compare to, and then other defenders to compare to see if this means anything. So, gotta wait on that one. Let me go back to this video and check out what's happening next. All right, so let's see what happens when we go upstairs.
Aggressive.
Juice up our new brute. He goes charging in. Heavy damage. Close call. Is he gonna die? No. Dark matter. He's getting hurt. All right, we had a close call there, guys. Oh, two close calls. Is he gonna survive? Got him. Yeah, I'm thinking this close call really doesn't matter. Cause I was just thinking to myself there, like, let's say dark matter, I just healed him and he's back, but then he dies. Was it a close call? Yay, good job. And then boom, he's dead. You suck. So I don't think the close calls really make any sense. I don't know if that's a usable stat. Um, so I don't know if I'm even going to bother. I'll continue to just kind of track it just in case. So I don't have to go back and do it again later. But I still think it's going to be a usable stat because it could mean anything really.
Trying to think where I want to position myself, because when my melee guy charges in, I'm trying to stay close to him. But then if somebody behind me gets wrecked, I have to spin around to try to find him. I gotta pay more attention to my oh shit, Reser.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Guess what's going to happen, gang. Okay. Another one of these classic examples. I talk about this in my build videos where the console and their resing, this has come up before. So the new console, these revamp ones, the bosses, galaxies, loved res. And this happens a lot where they pop up in the back because the team just defeated them, right? And you got all your beefy guys, your beef who's out front, they go charging towards the next group. Meanwhile, your squish that are in the back, they start to follow, but then bam, there's a res right there that they have to deal with. And the beef, if they don't see that, they keep going. So then you got two dangers now. First, you just split the team. So you've cut your firepower, and in this case, a third. So two of us, me and Overcharge Girls, hang back. The other four all go forward. So we've got two of us back here and four of us go up here. Both teams are weak though because we're less than what we could have been, and then they don't have my buff anywhere. I'm the only buffer on the team, remember? So they're flying just by whatever they bring with them. And then we don't have our extra firepower back here. So this is going to result in something bad, as I think you know. Let's check it out. So I'm alerting. There's a reser.
No, not that. Oh fuck! I just amped my damn pet.
Now dark matter. Boom. Dead. I'm getting hit.
Killing me. You guys are killing me.
Overcharge turns around to help me. Thank you, Overcharge. But I'm like, let's get the hell out of here. Now this is when I'm like, I say to overcharge, let's drag, because I see the team's getting in trouble over there. So let's just keep shoot and scoot. Now, bam! Look what's happened. They've engaged a hole in the group.
Can't be in two places at once.
So again, that wasn't my, not saying pointing at fault at anybody, but I'm like, there's nothing I can do about dark matter going down. I wasn't even in the room. So it's like the third death now. So of the deaths, I think it's been 5 ally deaths so far, or 6. Half of them I couldn't do anything about, if not 3/4 of them. There's a res again, damage.
This is an educational experience, you guys.
Indeed.
Hell, I am going to post this because I don't know if I'm getting any usable data out of it.
Oh, I got usable data, you guys. Very usable. And even if you don't, even if you take away what I'm trying to do with this whole, defender versus controller, I'd say just a video like this, an analysis like this, can really help you understand how a set works or doesn't work. So I'm definitely looking at electrical affinity and electric blast, as you're going to see when I look at more at the stat table I put together, just how effective or ineffective those sets are, or when they're effective. It's just an interesting analysis.
God dang, I got to get something.
So I think Bent just had a close call.
Like, if I can't get in and put my damn Faraday cage up, it's like wreck time.
And I think it's the rockets from those little floating drone things.
I'm noticing our lead brutes have not had super high survivability diving in, but they're probably taking on +5s. I don't know. But definitely, if I have to follow in and I get knocked back, it's a problem. Crazy, dude. This is crazy.
Oh no. Oh no. I could see it. I could see it coming. I could see it coming. Right there. Happened again. Just as I was calling it. If the brute or whatever goes diving in and I go behind him and get knocked back, it's bad news. Look exactly what happened. I saw that one coming too. This is why I wish there was like voice chat in this game, because it would make things a lot easier. So here's our situation, right? I see Red Bolt's already gone up there and is build up ready to fight or something.
Don't.
And then I'm like, oh shit, Red Bolt's triggered. Because I knew there's always, it's one of those classic noob traps that I talk about in the build videos I've made, where almost always there are two groups. There's always two groups in here. So there's one of them is almost always around the corner right here, hiding. You can't see them, hidden. And then there's typically a second group straight up visible. And usually what will happen is your team comes into the room and they see this group and they're like, ooh, let's light them up. And they charge in there to go get them. And as soon as they do, that hidden group hits them from the flank or from the rear, depending on how deep they've gone up here against the visible group. And it's like a big crunch. Now, Red Bolt, I think, realized what was going on. I think she charges up. It's like, ooh, I'm going to blast some shit. And suddenly goes, oh crap, noob trap. There's guys right around the corner. You see her backpedaling, right? Juicing up, build up, or whatever it is to go and blast these dudes. But is backing out of there like, oh crap. I'm solo and there's two groups. Now watch Bent Carrot. Bent Carrot is like, oh, fresh meat, me brute, go destroy. Charges in there towards the visible targets and doesn't see this group over here, or maybe sees them too late. And immediately I'm already going, there's two groups, there's two groups, 1, 2, don't go in there. And that's why you hear me going, oh no, oh no. And then the knockback is going to happen.
Do it. Don't freaking do it.
He did it. I tried to get Faraday out.
Boom. I get framed, knocked back, bent bent carrot's done before I can't do anything about it. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta back out of there because I'm taking way too much damage from range. Now I go into offensive mode. I'm like, F it. Going best. Turtle mode, turtle mode. So I just start throwing everything out there. Give me it all. Get Turtle Man going. Because at this point, I might as well kill as many of them before I go down. Get him back on his feet. Get on your feet, soldier. Right? There's an example of back on your feet thing that I was talking about. So, but I don't think I can count that set either, because only buffer healer types can do it. I don't think I ever got Dark Matter's level. I don't think they're an incarnate. Come on. Do it. So yeah, at this point, when our other brute had left, we were down to everybody else is not an incarnate, I think, at this point. I think I'm the only incarnate. I'm not 100% sure about dark matter right now, but everybody else, unless Bent Carrot was, but I don't think they were. So we're really, I think I'm only incarnate on a team, which makes a big difference, obviously. Those are like your uber powers, but that's one thing to make note of is what impact, and that's a stat of, I don't know if I can really track it or not, but number of incarnates, what that does to your team. Dude, if we get ambushed a whole bunch, that's gonna be funny as hell. Nice. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Do crazy. See, this type of escort is not bad. Those cave missions sucked. Aside from them being caves, they're just too short, and too much time was wasted just navigating the cavern. But this bigger office building kidnap is actually pretty good. It's a longer map. Got ourselves our friends here. All right, so we take on this ambush. I don't think anybody else gets in trouble. Yeah. So then we're gonna go to our fourth and final. This is like a tight little map. Probably Arachnos. So this is technically our fifth mission, but I'm counting it as mission 5 because I combined the first two. This is maybe my worst mission that I perform. That was 3 decent. This. So yeah, if I take a look, this is the mission that I get defeated on this mission. So far I've only died once on mission 3 when I was in the thick of that warehouse with the council. I made it through that mission, the one we just saw, the escort, unscathed. Now this is the rob the SLSSL or whatever bank, not the bank, but a bank mission, old school bank mission. Arachnos, I die again, so I get defeated. I have we have 4 team defeats, which is bad. Second most. The mission itself is fairly short. I think we only are on it for 14 minutes. It's not that long. I mean, one of the longer ones of the non-mayhem. But there's, 5 total deaths, one of my own. And then you got my foe defeats are only 19, so the fewest foe defeats I had. Foe defeats per minute's the lowest I had. Per teammate is in a toilet. Blah blah blah. Oh,
I don't want to spoil that one yet, you guys. That's the big reveal. So not the greatest outing at that on this mission. So yeah, it starts. We get in, and if you haven't run this one before or something in a while, Arachnos is guarding this bank, and they are right near the entrance. So if you kind of poke your head around, or sometimes a little group maybe stumbles and sees you, they attack right away. So a lot of times you get attacked right there at the door. That's exactly what happened. But we start fighting, no big deal, everything's going good. Notice right there, we just saw people peel off, right? I just saw red is peeling off that. I don't know if they're going to go. Now, here's what I saw, and this is why this almost became a problem. So here, this fight is ending here. We're all facing in this direction. Boom. I'm like, I don't see anything over there, but we saw something over here. So I go around this way, thinking, hey, we're all heading this way. I start engaging. Meanwhile, they've all gone the other direction and start engaging over here. And as soon as I realize this at this point, I'm going, oh crap, because I know I should not be fighting like 3 or 4 level 54 Arachnos solo over here. I'm going, I got to get out of here. So I kind of violate one of my own cardinal rules, which is to drag enemies into the rear of my allies. I should have said something right here, but I was like, well, I hope I ran fast enough. This was my thinking, is that if I ran fast enough, the group they wouldn't keep following me around this way. They would instead go, oh, he went that way and come this way to get me. That was what I hoped. And I think it actually worked for one or two of the guys. But then one or two came following me this way. So I kind of was like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have done that. But I did. So sue me. And then boom, look what's happening.
Where's...
Let's go back. So I start the fight over here going, oh crap. Let me quick move because this is not working out.
I think we zigzag. Let's go this way.
All right, Red Bolt's getting hurt already. Redlining, close call. Bent Carrot, close call.
Carrots over
I
here.
start buffing.
Ah, crap. Hold on. Give me up.
Boom. Overcharge, close call. Seriously slippery.
That's my fault.
So we just had like 4 people on this mission. Close calls right here. Now, I don't know how much of that was me saving them versus them just clicking some inspirations.
Come from the side.
All right, so we clean up this mess. No harm, no foul.
I think I just saved his life.
Now we start moving into the bank itself. So my number of kills on this map was lowest, but I don't think there's a lot of enemies in the first place. I don't know if you guys saw that. I just got stealth struck. I watch how much damage I take. So even though he had me placated, hit me with his crit, barely took any damage, right? Between my own shields and Faraday cages up, most of the damage he just did to me was reduced. The Faraday cage is tough. I know I misspoke during the build video. I think I said it had like 30 some percent damage resistance. That's its debuff numbers. Debuff resistance. Its damage resistance is like 25.
Domination yet.
He did. I remember seeing it earlier. Didn't see it. I don't think they had a lot of AoE controls. What I was missing, but they did have domination running with their Arctic Air. I saw that a few times. But I'm a big fan of running domination 24/7. Permadoming if I can get it, which I always shoot for.
Standoff. So it's hard to kind of get them and our brute who's up front.
Yeah, this was a big problem I was noticing or having. Was in a scenario like this. Here's a great example of it. Especially with, again, your electrical affinity, you need targets. You have single clicky buffs. I've got, to my left, is going to be my melee and my brute. He's over here and he's taking a beating. So if I'm focusing my buffs in this direction, all the chains are bouncing around here for me and him. But what's happening is while that's going on is my squishier dudes like my blaster. Now I've got two blasters now back here, and a lot of times red is back here as a sentinel too. So I'm having two or three ranged allies behind me. So if I turn around and focus on them to send the buffs, then my brute's getting his ass kicked up front. And seriously, Slipper, I think, was kind of playing in the middle like I was. So I'm trying to position myself at the center as much as I can in order to be able to play back and forth. But the way this set works, it doesn't work that well. It doesn't work that way. If you have an aura, right, you can, send your aura and heal everybody around you, whether you see them or not. Or if you got the big old, spammy transfusion type of heal, you can throw those big blooming heals in the melee, or if you got Twilight Grasp, you're blooming heal around yourself. You got single target heals that chain, so you need to be able to see your target, have line of sight on it, and then hope anybody else needs to heal standing close to it, including yourself. And so if you can't see somebody behind you, this is the problem with, like, let's say I'm like, oh, I want to heal Overcharge Girl, and I just click on my team thing over here. Yeah, I'll heal Overcharge Girl, but if they're standing behind me, I can't see who else is there, if it's even going to matter. Or are they even in my line of sight back here? Because let's say she's around the corner back in here. Well, then it doesn't matter if I click on my team window. I can't get a heal back here. So that's the big trouble I keep running into with Electrical Affinity, is that you need to have everything in front of you. So really, I think if you're going to play Electrical Affinity, you want to be ranged. You want to be standing back at the back of the team and just throwing everything in front of you, which means you need aggressive teammates that are going to go forward and not stand behind you. Not that these guys are doing anything wrong. It's just the way their characters played. So I'm not blaming them, but it was just hard to, as an EA support, you're trying to do this, and if people are behind you, you just can't you can't see them. You can't bounce back and forth easily.
Don't nuke, you bitch. Down she goes. Oh, dude, he's going deep.
Fence taking the aggro. I know it's just great because then I can just kind of focus through him.
Uh-oh.
And this is my mistake. I accidentally over target, and then I'm like, F it. I just throw my Ionic in there. Like, whatever. They're coming anyway. Start taking the damage.
Crap, I need a target, need a target.
Yep, there's dark matter. Alright, so dark matter.
Targeting my allies, that it's actually a detriment when I'm...
I just saw dark matter is not incarnated, so that confirms that. And neither's bent carrot. So yeah, at this point, I'm the only incarnated on the team. Confirmed.
Hang in there, Jack, hang in there.
Some nice little glitch.
Pets are down.
Audio glitch. Here's where shit gets ugly. I know what's going to happen. As soon as you blow this door, the groups spawn, and they typically spawn right here in this room. But what happens, you'll see, is I believe that the team heads in the other direction, and so they get rear-ended.
Yeah, get the frickin' bank, dude. Here comes the guys.
Right there. Boom. So here they are. And so Bent is already out of position. He's up here, like, I'm gonna hold off this incoming. The problem is the second group spawns right behind him. And so we're pinned back here, and he's up there. And now he turns around going, oh crap. Dark, I think, standing in the vault behind me. I'm trying to move up because I'm like, I want to get position in this doorway. Yeah, Dark's dying back there.
Oh, you were in the vault, you greedy bastard. Get out of the vault.
Again, they're behind me. I can't see you. So I throw down the Faraday so he's got a place to res safely. Get him back in the fight. There you go. And now look what happens. As soon as I do that, Bent Carrot gets dropped on the other side. So, as a defender, you can't be in two places at once, but particularly with a buffing defender, empathy, kinetics, electrical affinity, you have to be on site to do anything. Debuff would be different. I could have thrown a toggle out here debuffing while I went back there and helped somebody. But buffers, I think, are harder to play than a debuffer is. I mean, it's not my favorite playstyle. I'm going to tell you that right now. I like defenders, but buffing defenders is such a pain in the ass.
Hold on there, man.
Now, Carrot went down. I just got stunned. Gotta click my Faraday. And as soon as we defeat all these guys, it's gonna spawn more ambushes. Yep, here comes another group. This is like one of the nastiest ambush missions in the game.
Why don't I get detoggled? Oh, don't get out of my sight line, guys. Come on.
Oh no, now I'm dying.
Dying. Stay put, stay put. Fuck it, get in there.
Yeah, I like at some points, defender, you just gotta go. Gotta take it out, take them out, go into attack mode. And this is why a good defender takes their blasts, because your blasts are as effective at protecting your team as your buffs are. If you can debuff the enemy's health to 0, your team will survive. And you have those blasts for a reason to use them. Now here's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I think they're going to spawn another group behind us. And sure enough, like 2 groups spawn right here. The rest of the team has already cleared this area. I think I'm solo at this point. Going, oh crap. But then Red is right there. I'm all right, Red. It's just you and me, I'm thinking. I'm like, you're getting your ass kicked. Let me keep you alive.
Stay strong.
I'm like, the other rest of the team, they should get back there. They're probably coming any second now. Why aren't they coming? And I'm like, we can't stand against these guys for much longer. We got to get out of here. I don't have any defensive Skittles that I can eat other than one. I'm like, let's back out. Come on, Red, back out. Come on, Red, back out. I'm still thinking in my head, all right, Red, you got to back out of there. Let's get out of here. Slowly back out. I see them taking damage, dying. I'm like, all right.
Shit.
Now I'm thinking, all right, come on, Red. We got to go get to the others. Let me clear a few more targets to you. And this is where I get worked. Effing boss.
Oh, Red, what are you doing? I get it. Man, I got Reds in there like dying. Shit. Oh my god, get up.
That was a total F up. I was like, Red, get out of there in my head. And as soon as I say Red, get out of there, Red takes off and then I get freaking murdered. Like, wait, I'm sticking in there trying to get red to get the hell out. Red takes off, and I get effing murdered. Classic.
Let's go.
Look at all these people dying, close calls, left, right, and center. Yeah, I mean, like here, I shouldn't get penalized for these close calls or benefiting. I'm not even there. Yeah, I'm not going to use that stat. Alright, well, then this mission progresses. We ultimately defeat the rest of these guys. Mission's over. And then we decide we're going to go do the Mayhem mission. So, Mayhem, you want to destroy a bunch of stuff, build time. So that's why I say to the guys on the way, I say, hey, let's destroy a bunch of stuff, build some time. So what I typically do is blow up the stuff right over the fence, blow up the cars in this lot, and then I like to engage the, because right down here and through this alley is typically the first group of Knives of Artemis who give you the key to the police station, which is right here. Here's the back of the police station and the jail. So this is usually what I do. I try to get some free time here, build up some bonus time. But what the team does is they start following me through the parking lot, and they continue this way and engage the PPD that are right around right on this side. And I always hate battling the cops on the mayhem missions because even if you defeat them, it's only worth 30 seconds of bonus time. Meanwhile, if you blow up garbage cans, crates, barrels, boxes, you get minutes. So if we sat here and trashed a bunch of these, just explodable things here, destructibles, we could have built minutes of time rather than spending minutes of time defeating these PPD over here to get a lousy 30 seconds. So watch what happens as this part continues here. We're sitting here at, let's see, it's an hour and 4 minutes and 41 seconds. Let's see how long it takes for us to finish these cops over there. They just started to engage them, so it's 4:41. I'm over here destroying stuff in the alleys. Going, all right, they should be following me. They're over here fighting cops.
And then you guys started it. Now you did it. Oh, no.
Overcharged, getting wrecked. Yeah, you don't mess with the PPD guys. Overcharged is really hurting. Bent Carrot's hurting. Now I got to get in there and help them.
Hang on here, guys. Hang on here. Let's not engage the pigs unless we have to.
Not only they take a long time to kill, they then res, or they transform into dwarf, or light form. Like right there. How the hell did he make that transformation? We had 0 endurance.
How's he maintain dwarf if he's
All right, it's been 1 minute and 15 seconds. We're still fighting these guys. We still got 3, 4 more to go. All right, still don't have the 30 seconds. All right, there it is. All right, so that took us from 4:41 to 6:28. So that would have been 1 minute. It was like 1 minute and 45 seconds or something like that. Getting close to 2 minutes, just about, to get 30 seconds. That's why it's a waste of time to engage the cops. Okay, then it doesn't help you get bonus time at all. It just slows you down. So long story short, if you're going to run mayhems, ignore the police on the street unless you have to engage them. Blow up the destructibles. That builds time real fast, real easy. And then get the side missions that'll give you more time. So at this point, I'm like, we've lost a couple of minutes off the initial clock, and we need to start building time because we have sides. I wanted to do 2 or 3 sides at this point, and we've already lost, a couple minutes. So I'm like, all right, F it. Let's just go right into the bank. I don't care about the knives over there. I'm just gonna go and F the keys, go free this guy. That's probably a good idea. I did this because, spoiler, somebody's gonna die. Okay, taking heavy damage in the front room. Dark gets killed in here.
Can't help you, bro. You're on your own. Where's Carrot?
I gotta do a stat on some of the teammates' deaths per mission, because I think Dark was only with us like 2 missions, and I think he had 5 deaths or something. Typical blaster. Whereas Red Bolt, no deaths, it was with me the entire time. Overcharged, I think had then 3 deaths was with me the whole time. But it's funny, like the people that were with me the least had the most deaths. Look at that.
Stay still. Stay up.
Look, I just saved a life. Now that right there is a close call. See, that is what this set can do. I just got bent Carrot back in the fight within 5 seconds. Alright, Dark Matter still dead.
Hope he didn't.
Jump ahead. We go down into the jail part itself to get the prisoner out. Alright, so the bonus time all you gotta do is defeat the bosses that are guarding, and you get 3 minutes. But then the longbow will get triggered. Here they come. Alright, then we bust out of jail. Alright, so right now, we're fine. And right now, we got 12.5 minutes. We just got time for the jail. But we're still, we haven't really gained anything yet. So now, again, I'm seeing sweet destructible targets. Let's blow up the destructibles, avoid the cops. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I think you know what's going to happen. Also, I know that there's going to be an incoming wave of PPD to the bank that we just, or the jail that we just freed the guy from. So I'm thinking, let's just go this way. Let's blow some stuff up. Maybe we can, because I know that up this way around the corner is another group of Knives of Artemis that are going to give an arson mission. The arson door is right here behind me. So my thinking is, all right, let's go over here. Let's blow up some stuff. Try to avoid, especially this guy here. Skirt along the sidewalk here and cut around and go get those knives. That's what I'm thinking. And you'll notice everybody else is looking this way because I think you know what's happening behind me. All right, Slippery goes down.
Middle of the road. Oh no.
Dark goes down. Bent is getting jacked up. Bent is down. His PPD are just wrecking faces. Overcharge is going down. We've got the ambushes coming in from the jail.
Hold on.
I'm like, all right, fuck, I gotta go into turtle. I gotta go to total heal destructo mode at this point. Gotta save the 2 people that are still alive. My 2 blaster red bolt here. Let's keep them on their feet. Everybody else is expendable at this point. So I'm like, all right, people are starting to get back up. Good. Now let me start unloading. Get buffs going.
This is open warfare in the middle of the street.
I hate those.
Sticking up.
Damn PPD enforcers throwing his tear gas bombs or whatever here. All right, so we ultimately defeat these guys, but look how long it's taken us. Again, we're now down. We just lost 3 minutes with that fight, and we didn't get any time. We engaged cops on the street. We didn't need to. We had to fight the stupid ambushers.
Come on, guys.
Now I'm being attacked by these other dudes.
Those knives.
And I'm just telling the guys, hey, forget the knives over there. You can see here's the original group of knives I'd wanted to go and get. Back up a little bit. See, there, you can see them. So my initial goal was to come down this alley from blowing up the stuff after we first started the mission, take out this group of knives, and then go that way to go towards the jail that we just came from. So I'm just telling these guys, ignore these knives. We don't need to get into a fight with them. We're down to 8.5 minutes. At this point, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, dude, we still want side missions. I mean, if I ran right to the bank, it'd probably be okay. But I'm like, well, I still want to do some sides, and this is getting real close because the side mission might be a 5 minute diversion, and we could get the time back. But we need to start destroying things, building time. You don't get enough time for killing these stupid cops, so ignore them if you can. Kill if necessary. But we were doing a bunch of unnecessary fighting.
Ignore those knives. Arson side.
All right, now we finally here got to back up. We clear out those cops. We're down to 8 minutes, and here I want to get this group of knives because this is going to give me the arson side mission.
Arson side.
Take them out, and then we get to the arson map, which is right there, back by where the police station was. Now, here's the thing about arson you got to remember, or know if you don't, is that within 30 seconds of you entering the arson map, cops show up. Longbow shows up to stop you. So, if your first instinct is just go and start clicking the glowies, before you even finish clicking the first one, the door opens and in comes Longbow. And they usually break you out of your click. They interrupt you. Exactly. I'm like, I'm not a door holder, guys. Somebody else get over here. Dropping nukes.
Oh, carrots in here.
I wasn't sure the whole team was even with me at this point. All right, now here comes wave 2. So longbow, then the PPD. We just got the click. 4 minutes. Boom. So we got back. This is why you want to do the side missions right there. We're back in black here. Now at this point, we just want to get the hell out of here because fighting these guys is just wasting the time we built. So as soon as I get this guy's killed, I scoot. I get out of there and find the next side mission or start destroying stuff. Because there's, I think, a third wave of ambushers shows up. Yeah, here they come. Now, its XP is great on these missions, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can spend a good 30 minutes on a single mayhem mission, which we just about do. I mean, I've spent 45 minutes plus just killing everything. And its side missions are great to do that because so many times you get the ambush position, right? They're all coming through a door. You can just stack up on them and take them out, and it's just like free XP walking through. It's like a farm. All right, so we clear those guys, and at this point, I'm thinking, you know what? We should probably get to the bank because, again, we're down to 8 minutes. We just spent all the time that we built fighting the cops coming through the door. So I'm like, let's just go to the bank because we really don't have time to play around. Maybe I can get some cheap free time over here, so I blow up something. But then I think we aggro. Here's the problem. It's about to happen. So everybody's coming through the door, full team. But just like the arson, as soon as you enter the bank on a mayhem, longbow, I think it is, shows up first within 30 seconds. If you know that, then what you do is you set up a kill box right here at the door, and as soon as these idiots walk in, you annihilate them. You do this before you engage the bank itself. Now, what happens is we don't do that. We engage the bank. So I'm like thinking, all right, I'm posted up right here, letting people know there's incoming, and a couple people hanging out. Now we got a split team again. Bent Carrot has gone in to engage, and right there he made his lethal mistake. Right there he made that lethal mistake. So watch what he does. He goes in. Okay, he's engaging. Right now I can save him. I'm thinking, okay, he made a mistake. He's engaging a whole buttload of longbow solo. He does have some backup from Red Bolt and Slippery. But at the same time, Dark, Overcharge, and I are all looking at the door where more longbow are coming in. So we got two huge groups of longbow coming. I see him, I'm like, oh shit, he's fucked. And my thinking is, okay, fine. What we can do is retreat from the door location and push forward with Bent to take up a defensive position on the inside of here, fighting these guys. And then as the longbow come in, we'll stop the second group of longbow here, stack them up here. So I'm like, all right, that's my thinking. That's what I want to do. Let me turn around. Let me help Bent Carrot. Let me give him some medicine. Notice I'm animation locked right now. I am in the middle of a short circuit. And before I finish my short circuit and can turn around, I have him targeted. And I want to cast a heal on him. Watch what he does. Boom. Just signed his death warrant.
Can't help you, bro. You're around the corner.
And begins the long, slow, painful downfall. 2 down.
You guys are killing me. Literally.
All right, we got this position held okay. We just kind of hang out here for a minute. Red Bolt's engaging. Red Bolt's engaging. Trying to hold the door. Red Bolt's down.
Don't engage, don't engage, don't engage, don't engage.
Bang. There goes Overcharged.
The fucking defender will save the freaking day.
I'm getting freaking surrounded. If I had some Skittles, I could have done it. Down I go.
Alright, go to the fucking hitting jail.
Yeah, that was bad. That was a bad move right there. Hold that door first, guys. Take the door, then engage the bank.
Guys, gotta stop the ambush first, and then engage the guys in the bank.
You heard me. And then we needed a consolidated position. We needed to get together in one area and hold off, but we were stayed sandwiched between the two. By the way, if you're playing with a buffing defender like kinetics, like electrical, like empathy, do not break line of sight with your defender or your controller, whoever it is that's got the power. They can't help you if they can't see you. All right, then we get the partial ambush because they're going to come back for us. That's the problem with getting trapped in the jail after a death, is all the stuff that killed you runs to the jail to go kill you again. So boom, we come back to the bank.
Hold on, I got you.
Dark Matter gets killed, I think, on the way in, or as soon as they got here.
Somebody got us a couple minutes, nice.
Yeah, I think that was the save. That was the saving play right there. Go back right there. So we're down to 4.5 minutes as we got out of the jail, and bang! Notice we just got bonus time right here. 3 minutes for cars. I think that was Bent Carrot got us some cars. So good job. I think Bent Carrot is the one that got us at that bonus time. That's what we needed because now we have the time to finish this mission. We only had like 4 minutes entering the bank here, but that car destruction bought us 3. It's simple like that. If you just get some destructibles, that's what makes these mayhems possible. At least the true mayhems, they really have fun with them. You got to get destructibles blown up. All right, so we finish the ambush. We finish taking out the guys here in the front entrance. We're down to 7 minutes.
Dang it. Where's my Faraday?
Okay, we're gonna push past these guys. Get into the middle of the bank.
F it. Chuck it.
I'm just throwing stuff left, right, and center. You guys will be amazed about the damage I end up putting out this guy. At least I was. We fight through this. All right, now at this point, I'm seeing trouble again because remember when we entered the bank, we had about 7.5 minutes. By the time we get to the elevator part of the bank, so here's the elevators back here. You can't see it through the smoke, but we want this elevator right here to go down. We still have a whole group of longbows sitting in here. We're down to 5 minutes. If we spend another minute or two just beating these longbow up, we're in trouble because we've still got to defeat another group of longbow down in the vault, and then we got to get the hero to show up with the longbow and defeat all them, all within that 5 minute time limit. So I am like, we don't have time for these guys up here. We need to get through to the vault and trigger the hero to come so we can take them out. So that's what you hear me say. So I'm like, just push through. Just push through. Don't engage. Dark goes down again. Overcharge goes down.
So, need the vault.
Overcharge girl. Good jump and got yourself through. Now here's where Dark almost makes a critical mistake. I'm waiting for everybody else to come down. Now I have, or I'm thinking, I know someone in our team had teleport. I don't remember who it was. That's why I'm waiting. Because what my thing is once we get down, we'll just teleport
Someone TP Dark.
TP Dark down here, and then we'll get him up. Because what you don't want to do is what he does. I have ATT, so I'm thinking, all right, fine. And as I'm typing this, I thought somebody else had teleport already. He goes ahead and clicks jail. Right there. Just went to the jail. And once you go to the jail, it has a TP blocker.
Hollow man.
So you can't TP somebody out of a jail. They have to leave the cells. But he just went there, and now we're kind of F because what ends up happening is that once we okay, so here's what we got. Here's our issue. So Dark misses the TP, goes to jail. In jail, there's no TP from the cells. So he's going to have to spawn there and run all the way back to the bank, which is fine because we're kind of in the bank. However, once the vault door has been blown in the bank, boom, this triggers Longbow and the hero. They typically run straight to the bank to go and protect it. However, what happens is when this ambush spawns, if there's somebody not in the bank, they go after them. This is a problem with 3.5 minutes left, because if this ambush that we have to defeat to get the mission to complete and win, if this ambush splits and a bunch of them go after Dark in the jail and a bunch come after us in the bank, we can kill the ones coming to us in the bank. But Dark is all alone in the jail, leaving the jail, coming back to us. Now the jail's been cleared, so there's not too much danger for him to come out. But If the longbow goes in force, then he runs to the bank, then the longbow is going to chase after him, and we have to wait for them to arrive at the bank so we can finally defeat this entire group, all in this 3.5 minutes. So this is why I'm like going, what the zoinks? We're screwed. But fear not. We'll save the day.
Yeah. Dark here to not pull.
So I'm saying we need dark here to not pull the longbow. So the ambush is coming. They usually come all at once. But now they've been split.
I don't know, Dark might have fucking split our ambush guys, like Hollow Man.
Okay, here comes Hollow Man. So when I see Hollow Man come in, I'm like, okay, I think it's fine.
Shallow Man.
I'm thinking, okay, we got this. Hollow Man's dead. Oh crap. It didn't complete. We need more longbow then. Where's the other longbow? We got 2.5 minutes left at this point. And I'm like, all right, we got longbow, but these are the ones that we left. These are the ones we left upstairs. Or is one of them mixed in there? And I'm wondering, well, maybe it's this pet here that's counting.
Fear Pet.
So I'm trying to figure out where's the longbow. What's the last guy we got to defeat? Overcharge is getting hurt. All right, buff up again. I'm like, all right, maybe it's one of these longbows. As we kill them, we should have it cleared. We've got 1 minute and 40 seconds. All right, now I'm like, now we're effed. Where is the longbow? All right, we missed the longbow. Where are they? We need them. All right, I hear fighting. There's another longbow. Let's kill this one. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. Oh, shit. Where's the longbow? Oh, wait, there's one. Killer.
Kill it.
And we have to go quick because I know more are coming. Bang. 1 minute and 10 seconds left. We do it. All right, well, there you go. That was the end of that mission.
I mean, a legit.
That was, skin of your teeth completion of the mission. What a super excited. So good job to the team here. Red Bolt, Overcharged Girl, Seriously Slippery, Bent Carrot, Dark Matter. I didn't think we were gonna do it, but we pulled it off. GJ, eat a sandwich. All right, let's wrap this thing up, man. We've been babbling for a long time. We've been analyzing. We've been everythinging with this thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at our final analysis here, the stats from the log here. So we talked about the missions. We ran a total of what I'm calling 5 missions with the Mayhem. Missions 1 and 2, I'm just combining because they were real short and cave escorts are not the way to go, so I'm not going to do any of those anymore. So did roughly what I was shooting out, targeting 4 standard kind of paper missions, and then the Mayhem being the last one. My goal with the Mayhem though was to get an actual AV to actually to real test. We ended up with Hollow Man instead, which sucked, but it took us 79 minutes to run through those missions. I had 4 teammates, then 5, then 6 for the bulk of the mission. So that was one more than I wanted, which is why I'm gonna have to adjust at least my comparisons when I do with my controller. I'm gonna have to make sure. I mean, I can't control necessarily that we're gonna have 5 or 6 teammates. Just people might come and go. So that's why I have to factor in this teammate stat to the number. So for instance, I was talking about it down here where I had the teammate ratio down here. So allies 16. This is the number of defeats we ended up having. So we had 16 defeats, which is 0.572 defeats to teammate ratio. So what I was doing there, I was saying I had 16 total defeats and I had 4 allies on one mission, 5, 6, 6, 6 like this. So what I'm doing here is 1 defeat per the 4 teammates is a 0.25. 3 defeats on mission 2 with 5 teammates, that was a 0.6. And what I ultimately did is I took these numbers here to make a single ratio of teammates to defeats over here. So that's the average of those numbers. So on average, we're having about a half a defeat per teammate is what that translates into. Okay, so this will be the number I can use to compare to my controller, a nice sort of head-to-head number. So that is how I'm going to use variable teammates moving forward if I have to deal with it. I ended up being defeated 3 times. I don't think that was too shabby. I think in the scenarios I was trying to help my allies, so I don't mind dying as long as, I'm doing my job and trying to survive. So, but overall, I mean, I didn't get destroyed every 5 seconds because every time I die, right, that means I'm the only supply of buffs. So if I go down, then the team is going to be in trouble. They're going to be buffless. So the fact that I only went down 3 times, one was when that Fortunata chick got me pinned. The mayhem was just utter chaos. I mean, that we were all dying on that moment. This is the one where the council, I was trying to save. I think it was Red. Both times I think here and here's Red. I don't want to say Red got me killed, but it's basically I was with Red, and that's why I ended up dying with those 3 things. That was one where I missed the heal with overcharge when they ran past where I was trying to get the heal off of them. Anyway, so it wasn't too bad there. The close calls, I don't think I'm going to use the stat anymore. I don't know if I have another stat to replace it with. Like I might if I kind of split one of the other stats I'm about to show you in a second. But I just don't think this is very useful information now in hindsight. I don't know if back on your feet is a better way to even look at it, or if that's similar. It doesn't really matter. Then foes defeated. I already talked about this. 207 is what I accounted for. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot to me, just as a single player running, 5 missions. I accounted for 40 something a map. That's pretty good. But I have no idea what the defeats were for my allies. I don't know how many. This might be nothing compared to the other players. Don't know. But it also may be pretty high because I was like the only incarnate in those last couple missions, meaning I was the only one that was plus or -3 or yeah, -3 to the enemies. The enemies are +3 to me. Everybody else, they were dealing with +5s the entire freaking time. So kudos to my teammates who survived that chaos given the threat level. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this. This is the other stat that I have. This is huge to me. So this is where ChatGPT really works. So I dumped all the information I had after I broke it down. Check this out. What I had ChatGPT do is calculated the total amount of damage that I dealt. This is just me. This is Ampere Avenger. So Ampere puts out 250,000 in damage during those 5 missions. And then I asked it to break down by power. It also gave me my endurance drain. Now, this is not something I'm going to directly compare to my controller, but it's something I just wanted to see for myself. How effective is drain as a tool? Is it effective? Like, how much are you doing? That's what this is kind of going to help me give me an answer here. But anyway, check out the damage. Ball lightning, 22,000. Judgment, I was doing 76 total thousand. Like, this is the initial boom on the initial target. And then these are the jumps. So the initial persons took this much. All the other people around took that much. So obviously my incarnate was a huge chunk of this 76,000, 76K. But that's still only about, what, a quarter of this, a third of this? It's not like everything. This is pretty huge. I mean, Ball of Lightning did a ton of damage. About 10% of my damage came from that power. Lightning Bolt, 10K. Short Circuit did a good chunk, 13K. Check out Thunderous Blast, another 22. So Thunderous Blast and Ball Lightning were a pretty huge 1-2 punch between them, right? I mean, that's a huge bit of damage that I'm putting out here. My interface, I have the number on this, so I have the chance for energy damage along with the recovery debuff. Boom, 2,000 some damage with that one. Here's my Ghost Widow's Embrace that I have slotted into Tesla Cage. That proc accounted for 3,000 damage. So this is really cool. It helps me to look at my powers in real, scenario, not just, on mids what does mid say your power is going to do? This is like what your power actually did in a game based upon who you hit, who you missed, how many times you actually used it, etc., etc. Boom, it's all sitting right here for you. The other thing that was interesting is that it gave me my shocking bolt damage from. I'm trying to think the source of this damage here. Shocking bolt. I know shock is my attack, but shocking bolt, I think. God, I can't remember where that was. I don't know if that was a proc damage or what. Or was this. No, that wasn't Tesla Cage. Not Tesla Cage. I'm trying to blank. Voltaic Sentinel. Because I actually broke those numbers down. Check this out. This one actually tripped me up. Look at this. I have Voltaic Sentinel's numbers here. Because you know, like you're going, man, what is this thing doing? How much damage does it do? Well, now I know. My Voltaic Sentinel put out 12, almost 13K, right? Compare that to it's as much just about as my short circuit did. It's more than my lightning bolt did. It's more than my, gosh, where is Zap? Well, it's not as much, it's close to Zap, right? Not too bad. Where's the charge bolts? It did more than charge bolts. So, I mean, your little galvanic sentinel is of your single target attacks, charge bolt 7,000, uh what is it? Lightning bolt 10, 11,000. This thing is doing more damage than both of those. So that's huge. I mean, it's basically your number 3 attack behind zap. What's that? You got charge bolt, lightning bolt, then it's your voltaic sentinel. It'll be like your tier 3 attack is what it equates to. And then you've got your zap power being your strongest of those single target things. So that was pretty eye opening to me. Galvanic Sentinel also gives you an idea of how much drain it's done. So that was 3,400. I was doing drain with shock, so 700. So between the two of us, I mean, the Galvanic Sentinel did way more single target draining than I did, right? Like, look, shock 700, galvanic was did 3,400. So this is a good idea of how much drain you can do. Compare that to, let's say, Tesla Cage, right? Tesla Cage did a decent chunk of draining as well, as much as galvanic sentinel. And then you can also see a Tesla Cage did 1,700 base, but then it also has the Ghost Widows. So those two combined were close to 5,000 damage that power did. And then I have my lore pets here, my builder, my dismantler, and then the this is the other thing that was interesting. Antimatter particles, I believe they were reported as like a pseudo pet in the stats, but I'm pretty sure it's like some secondary effect or whatever of the dismantler's antimatter beam or whatever it's got. So I think these two guys actually combined together. So this thing was actually putting out a huge chunk of damage. You don't realize how much damage your pets are putting out, right? Like 13, 26, right? That's 39, like 40,000 right there. Your voltaics, another 13, so 50 some thousand plus these antimatter particles, like 70 some thousand damage. So my pets were thrown in another 74,000. I did 187, 80,000. So total, me and my pets and lore and everything else procs 255,000 points of damage that accounted for why I did 207 kills. So I mean, I'm thinking like that's a lot. I'd be impressed. I'd be surprised. Now that I see this, I'm wondering, is my controller gonna be able to outdamage this? Do controllers with their containment outdamage defender? Is a defender's blast set weak and not usable or pointless? I don't know. These numbers are starting to argue against that. At least, again, I don't have anything else to compare it to yet, but I'm like, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. And then my last stat, and this is the one I might kind of break out as I have it here. So instead of worrying about close calls or, get back in the fight stats, I might separate this out because I was doing a ratio between my output of damage and then the damage that I took. Because I'm representative of a teammate. So if I'm taking 53, 54,000, my teammates are probably taking that, if not more, right? Around there. So it gives me a rough gauge of the survivability of the team. because I'm seeing how much damage I'm taking, and I'm probably one of the least protected people on the team. So if this is what I'm taking, my allies are taking that or probably less given my buffing. And then I have it broken down by what type of damage I'm taking because I do have a lot of smash and lethal resistance. So you can see those numbers are fairly low compared to the things I don't have a lot of. Actually, I have a ton of energy resistance. So I was actually surprised by how much energy damage I took, but it depends on what foes you're fighting. Like those PPD were dishing out energy damage like nobody's business. But I ended up taking, a huge chunk of damage. But compared to the damage I was putting out, that's the ratio. Check out this ratio. And this is, I think, an important because this is what I'm calling a liability measurement. Am I a liability to the team? So my ratio was 475. That's output. So that's how much I was contributing to DPS versus 1 input. So I'm dealing 4 and almost 5 times the amount of damage I'm taking. So I don't think that makes me a liability, right? I mean, if you're taking more damage than you're putting out, then that to me you're a liability. I could get somebody else, but again, I don't have somebody to compare this to. I need to see what a controller does. What's the controller's output input? I think that's an interesting stat. This may be the most interesting stat out there. Is this you're contributing whether you kill somebody or not, right? You're dealing damage. Your pets are dealing damage. Are you necessarily the one accounting for the defeats, the 207? So the defeat number sounds nice, but I think that is not as important as the damage output. Damage, can't even spell damage. DMG. That output. I think that's an important stat. Not so much the defeats. And again, the time really doesn't matter. Now, time can matter. Actually, I kind of rephrase that. I may have to do this per time. I think I'm going to have to because this is important when you're trying to do a head-to-head comparison. Because if my controller only plays for half the time doing their 5 missions, then their numbers are going to be lower just because they're less. So if their numbers are less, I can't just look at that raw and go, oh, it's because they suck and they're not doing a lot of damage or something like that, or they're taking less damage, so they must be awesome. It has to do with the time. So I need to divide these things by time to get a true measurement. So I think another lesson I have here is I need to come up with denominators. I think I need to divide things, some of the stats by time, and I need to divide some of the stats by teammates because these are going to affect the outputs of damage of defeats. How much damage I do, how much damage I take, how many defeats I suffer, how many defeats my allies suffer. So I think I need these two as denominators. The rest of the stats I can use as numerators for that. Anyway, that, my friends, is where this analysis is for the Ampere Avenger. I think he did a lot of damage and a lot of defeats that I wasn't necessarily anticipating. I don't know exactly what it means yet. I was at first, I don't want to say mad or upset about how many times, my allies died under my watch. 16 seems like a lot, but looking back at the video, you know, I feel like half of those weren't really anything I could do about it. Roughly, I don't know, maybe a third of them. There was a certain number. I wasn't even there. I wasn't in the room. I wasn't within line of sight. So what do you want me to do about it? Now, maybe if you're playing a different type of buff set, force field, sonic, something like that, the thermal that has shields, then you don't have to be in the room to protect them. So they can go wander away and do whatever they want. And you'll probably have fewer defeats. But as a raw, just straight buffer who needs line of sight on an ally, there's nothing you can do about it if the ally gets out of your line of sight. So, with that in mind, will a controller with the same power set have any more luck and have fewer team defeats than 16? I don't know. That's where maybe the controls will synergize. So, if the controls synergize and they're able to protect by themselves, then it might ease the pressure on the buff set electrical affinity for a controller, which would be interesting because even though the numbers are stronger on a defender, The set might be better on a controller just because they have the controls protecting on top of their buffs. But then I can counter that by saying, well, hey, look at my defender. He put out a buttload of damage and killed a bunch of dudes. Probably going to be more than what my controller is going to put out. So isn't that protecting the team? Because if I wasn't doing all that damage, we would have had more defeats, right? Because I wasn't killing stuff as fast as we could have done. So I don't know. That's where the question is going to be. That's what the whole test is all about. Just seeing what happens in actual real world sort of game scenario. All right, guys. That is a tour de force. That is a reacto-analysis video, the first ever on YouTube, maybe. At least for City of Heroes, I would say. So I'm done. I can't talk anymore. I got a lot of things I'm thinking about percolate in my head. I'm gonna go after this point. I have to run my missions with Ostara, the electrical affinity controller I have. See how she does with her solo baseline. Talk about her build as well, and then follow that up with a bunch of team, and then crunch those numbers. And I don't know if I'll do the same in-depth analysis reaction like I just did with you guys, but I mean, I might. Depends on how much interest is in this particular video I'm going to put out here. All right, that's it. I can't talk anymore about it. My brain is going to turn to mush. My voice is starting to crack as well. So, in the meantime, you guys have yourselves a good upcoming weekend, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Peace out.